Well, luckily for us, I had the opportunity to sit down with costume designer Janie Tamim. So let's see what she had to say. Janie Tamim, welcome to Harry Potter, the official film podcast. It's such a thrill to have you with us.
Thank you.
So you joined the series on Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is kind of a massive tonal shift from the first two films. So when you came in, what did you most want to sort of change or influence about how this world looked and felt through the costume?
Well, when I joined, I had a talk with Alfonso Cuarón. We decided that if the film was going to be a teenager film, the kids should look different. They should really look like normal kids. Each one of them should have a look, depending on their personality, their social class, where they were coming from, and in a way that other children watching it could identify. And that's what we did quite successfully, because the response were incredible.
How did Dan and Emma and Rupert get involved in the sort of decision making around their wardrobe? Were they able to have a bit of a say?
Well, at the beginning, I could do what I wanted because they were young enough. But after the, let's say, 2-3 films where they were starting being like 16 years old, the girls were much more involved in what they were wearing than the boys. The boys, I could still keep quiet for a while. And then after that, they start saying, no, I'm not looking good enough. It's not cool. The one who was always adorable, and although he was looking terrible, he had terrible clothes. Ron, I was feeling sorry. I was feeling sorry when I gave him that gown, for the ball.
The dress
and all
robes,
the boys
yeah.
were looking so elegant in black and white, and they were looking at each other and being so happy to be so elegantly dressed up. And Ron had that terrible gown with the frills, but he was always a very good sport and always accepted that it was for the part and wear it.
I mean, the Yule Ball, I think, for so many people is such an iconic sort of turning moment for all of the characters, because as you say, we are seeing them step into adolescence and we're seeing them in formal wear for the first time. So what was at the forefront of your mind when you were designing the outfits for I mean, Hermione is such a gorgeous pink dress, for example.
It was a very difficult design for Hermione dress because I had to do something romantic and in the same time, very sweet 16. And it had to be also magical because, well, they are little wizards. So it was a very difficult design. But somehow it happened. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can spend hours, days on a design and it doesn't come through. And that one, the minute that I had decided that it was a change of colors, that it was going from pink to purple, that was the magical side of it. I thought about the floating because again, she's an apparition, so it should be a little bit floating. Then putting those elements together, I had the dress. So, it worked.
When we kind of get to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the world feels like more controlled, more authoritarian. Did you approach that film with a different design philosophy from the very beginning? And how did David Yates talk to you about how to approach it?
It was a normal evolution. Because the script was darker, the costume went darker. We had decided that the film should be dark and the only light will come from Umbridge. Umbridge is in pink, where everything else is sort of brownish, grayish, and the photography is remarkable.
Yeah.
Great lighting cameraman. And, all the details were really shown in the light. It was beautiful. And the fact that the light is coming from that really bad and sadistic person, it sort of showed that the world is lied by the baddies. And it's very symbolic. And that's how we did it. And I thought, I want to have a progression in Umbridge clothes. I start with something light, and then little by little it's going to be a stronger and a hard pink. We are going to feel the venom of this woman going through the color of her clothes. And the last costume is really like a very violent fuchsia pink.
I'd love to talk about Sirius Black because he is living in this sort of in-between place. He's supposed to be a bit of a mentor. He's a parent. He's an older brother, but he's also been locked up for years. He kind of hasn't really had a chance to go shopping. So how do you approach his look in a way that reflects his personality?
When you have Gary Oldman, I remember the first costume I designed for him was the prisoner costume.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I'm so happy that I don't have to have a magical thing with a pointed head to play that character. And then after that, he's at home. And then I think that you really like the very aristocratic approach of the part, because the house is very beautiful. And I think he wanted to make a contrast with his first costume, which is the prisoner costume. And when he's at home, he's really a gentleman. So we had all those velour jackets, this beautiful long velour dressing gown. Yeah, we had him like a dandy.
I'd also love to talk about Bellatrix because she is so brilliantly chaotic. She's you don't know whether she's wearing rags, whether she's wearing silk, how into fashion she is, or how much is just thrown on. It's such a fascinating style. So tell me about Bellatrix and working with Helena Bonham Carter.
She's wearing the most expensive rags in the world because, first you have to remember that the cast we had is exceptional. We had the best actors that England could give. I had a dress for her because I thought, okay, she's a fighter. She needs to have, a warrior, something. But in the same time, she is somebody who belongs to the aristocracy of the wizard world. So I wanted something slightly medieval to give that old warrior look. So I started getting into the corset. And I thought, because we are in Harry Potter, let's make it a leather corset. Little by little, the costume arrived. And I wanted a costume which was like in pieces put together, like she could take off a sleeve or she could add a sleeve. And then the rest, it happened. She put a costume on and she started scratching it. And then suddenly the costume became alive. And that was her. And, she started pushing the hair like that and she became Bellatrix. And she had that power. I mean, it was just a pure acting job that I saw in front of me. It was brilliant.
And finally, sort of looking back across like all of the films, is there like a specific piece of costuming that you kind of hold particularly dear or particularly proud of, or one perhaps that was so unexpected in its reception from fans?
I love Luna and her dad. And I get so many questions about Luna and her clothes and what she wears. That girl had a quality which made her costume very easy. She was making herself all this jewelry, very jewelry with the radishes and the carrots and the thing. And then she brought them and I said, of course you're going to wear them. I mean, everybody wear a carrot around their ears. It's no problem, And she was really happy to be contributing to her costume. She did a mask, a lion mask, and helped with that. She was a very creative little girl, and her costume were very, very organic because of that kid, which was extraordinary.
Good old Ivana Lynch. Yeah, she is an amazing Luna.
Yeah, she is.
Jenny, thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
It was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed talking about one of the best times of my life. It was so creative, so wonderful to work. I spent 10 years having the time of my life. It was great.